Hey Cancer, it's Romy. Welcome to the channel. This is your August 2021 soul story. I hope this finds you well. If you are new, then my readings are general and hopefully the insights might give you some ways to navigate the next few weeks. And if you're returning to the channel, thank you so much for continuing to support my work. So we're into Leo season, lighting up that second house of your worthiness, your sense of value. And we're opening up with the Five of Cups. And the invitation, I think, here is that you need to be the one that believes in you. You need to be the one that is proud of you. You are a deeply receptive soul, Cancer. And this is not a month where we want you to sit in a passive receptivity. We want you to be active. And the difference is going to mean that you can receive the news, you can receive the energy, you can receive whatever it is that interaction, participation, experience, emotion is telling you. And then you get to have an active response. It's not just sitting there and taking it. It's about saying, okay, this is now information, this is knowledge, this is something that I can use. And when you come at it from that perspective, you get to direct the conversation because your energy, Cancer, is always going to be your greatest currency. And you may have had some experiences of late or even through the course of this month where you feel home and not really home, and you feel here and yet not really here. And there may be this kind of undercurrent of yearning, but let's remind ourselves that yearning is very different to neediness. You know, sometimes that ache within us is an indication of the certain direction that we are meant to be moving in. And in Leo season, as we really start to unearth and discover anew how we actually perceive our value and therefore how that impacts the choices and the decisions we make, how we come back from disappointments, how we deal with grief and loss. You know, there's something that's so progressive and expansive here on a deeper emotional level for you. Now, we're going to welcome Juno, the goddess asteroid, turning direct in the sign of Sagittarius on the 2nd of the month. Juno rules the 7th house of marriage and partnerships, and here going direct in Sagittarius it's all about personal freedom. It's about finding that sense of liberation within the important connections and relationships in your life, whether they be personal, professional or romantic. And it is about you having both intention and a strong sense of character this month, because your Page of Wands is helping to open up lines of communication. And I have a sense for some of you either getting things back on track, coming to some sense of agreement or peace, resolving or finding resolution with something. And this is really important because there is a sense of there being some aspect for you in this month of August, Cancer, where you feel like you shouldn't, you feel like you can't, you feel like perhaps you don't even have a right to, and yet this is the time that you have to. And so there's something about, you know, the energy of this page coming in with its curiosity, with its spark, with its passion, with its sense of belief that seeing, you know, we have to kind of take advantage of this moment in the here and now. And we're going to approach on the 8th of the month, the new moon in Leo, which also welcomes Lion's Gate, where the sun and Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, align and open up this portal of manifesting energy. It's also going to be squaring Uranus, this new moon in Leo. So there's a capacity for sudden change to come in and really alter our trajectory and our shifts at that time. And of course, around the new moon, when we have that opportunity for a new beginning to plant seeds of intention, you're going to want to make sure that you're ready and poised. And even where you feel like, you know, things might be telling you otherwise, or there might be energies or situations or even people that are trying to dissuade you, you got to really trust and listen into that instinct here, okay? You are turning your back and you're looking out towards a much brighter future for yourself. So you are putting some of those past ghosts to rest and things that have haunted you, and just finding a place of acceptance. It doesn't mean that you're not honouring them or you're bypassing your emotional process in any way, but it is something important about making sure you can take advantage of the energy of August. And there's a softer feeling to it. We don't have any of those harsh outer planetary clashes going on. Yes, there are a few more speed bumps in the road for us to navigate, But really, there's a rare situation for us to take advantage of a series of unexpected and surprising news, information, insights coming our way. Moving directly into your pathway is the Knight of Cups. So maybe there is another water sign, a Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, but really what this is about for me is the offers that are making their way directly into your line of sight. You can see it coming, you have a heads up. And so even though there's a quality of being surprised through the course of this month, I want you to be anticipating the positive and the expansiveness of where you can actually start to see doors opening for you. We have a series of trines with Uranus. The first is coming in on the 2nd, the 3rd of the month in Venus, which of course is the ruler of the second house. Uranus in Taurus right now, so extra energy supporting news around finance, but also perhaps relationships. On the 19th and the 20th, Uranus trines with Mercury. So again, communication, things that we are selling, publishing, talking about in conversation over, sharing online, sharing in groups, sharing in any kind of narrative, again, gets an unexpected amplification. And on the 21st, 22nd, Uranus and Mars come right in with that second blue full moon in the sign of Aquarius. Now that's also conjunct Jupiter, so things can really blow up energy-wise, and we can see tremendous leaps forward by way of revelationary information that kind of sets you free. Remember, Uranus is about that liberation. It's sometimes coming in a surprising way, but it's the rebel, and it's here to kind of set you free from something. Now, we don't want to have a situation where we are betraying our own desires, our own needs and our own wants, holding ourselves back because we feel somehow it's not quite the right time. There is almost an inevitable momentum that's kind of pulling you forward. It may be even kind of grasping hold of you and yanking you out of a set of circumstances. And, it's reminding you, Cancer, that your dreams are worth the obsession. Where they make you feel alive, whatever they may be, whatever aspect of your life you are looking to see these things transform and change and come together, we have to allow a certain degree of closure and loss and even grieve parts of our old self in order to be able to kind of create the space for the new and what's ready to come in and make itself known to us. Now, of course, the death as an energy guide links into the sign of Scorpio, which also rules the 8th house. The full moon in Aquarius lights up your 8th house, and so there's this emphasis around resources, other people's money. Perhaps there's revelation news, things coming in unexpectedly in terms of you receiving finance from things that are outside what you're directly working on. Of course, second house in Leo season is the opposite. That's where you make money. So there's a bit of an emphasis through the month of August of you being able to transform and shift and change, some of the relationships, the money stories, and actually just your kind of financial foundation to a certain degree. Now, I want you to remember that your environment really dictates your energy. And so if you want to feel expanded, if you want to feel creative, if you want to feel loved and appreciated, you have to look around and you have to be aware of what that environment and the stimulus that is residing in it is saying to you and expressing to you energetically. And I mean from a physical perspective, in the homes that you have, the rooms that you spend time in, and the environments, outside and where you spend work time and friends time. But of course that environment as well is also the environment that you hold for yourself within your own energy field. Now, your Three of Swords is clarification here, right? There's a rawness, there's a truth, there's a ugly truth quality sometimes that comes in with the Three of Swords that can be that ache. Remember what I said when there's a difference between yearning for something and feeling the neediness of something. And sometimes when our heart aches and longs for a change, to see something, to be recognized, to be able to let something go or move beyond a set of circumstances, we tap into that energy, and it can be so powerful. It's like a vortex of energy that almost kind of connects us more deeply to source, because that yearning is a way for us to access something, higher in terms of our consciousness. It kind of it takes us up and out of our current circumstances, and we have to go beyond to try to kind of figure out the way forward and what it is that we have to invite in to kind of nurture that yearning. And so it's kind of like a deeply spiritual process of grieving, but then also tapping into and acknowledging what it is that you're yearning, and that feeling of almost being slightly displaced through the course of this month isn't coming in as a negative. Far from it, Cancer. It's coming in as a reminder that says, okay, there's something that's disconnected in my energy field right now, and I have to pay attention to, the environment and to my own process. And it's almost the recognition of these seconds in between. The seconds in between are teaching you everything this month, because it's in those moments that you make an emotional choice, you have an emotional response. It's like the sliding door, isn't it? And you can say yes or no to something. You draw a line, or you allow yourself to remain and stay stagnant or stuck. And in that kind of liminal space, if you like, and with the energy of August that's coming in with this like constant sort of series of events and news and insights and information saying, here's something else you haven't thought of and something else you haven't thought of. You're almost like well poised to be able to consider a different response. And back to what I said about this passive receptivity versus the active receptivity, because we want you to be able to make a response from this. Your Tower energy is because things have to, it's like a deconstruction, isn't it? It's like things have to kind of be completely altered. If you are trying to build something that has longevity and permanence and a sense of stability for you, that gives you that safe harbour, that gives you that sense of this is where my home is, this is where I feel rooted, this is me, then of course we have to look around our life, we have to look within, and we have to acknowledge then that there are certain things that need to be cleared out. Sometimes the universe has a slightly different approach than perhaps we would care to have it take, in as much as it can yank things out from under us, it can quickly redirect us and kind of dissolve and have things kind of coming in with these seismic shifts and changes, and we can feel momentarily like we have just been blindsided, and yet at the same time you're being invited to kind of look out over the horizon. What it's saying here is that your process in all of this, right, the work that you do, your self-development, the way that you approach life, the way that you speak to yourself, your growth, it's being refined, it's being deepened, and it comes by the risks that you take, the courage that you have, the decisions that you make, and even the fuck-ups that happen, right? And it's these, at times, aching disappointments or grieving moments that all kind of make us so present. We become so present in the moment, and all of that helps to shape us in a really, really powerful way. And so this is where we get not only the intentionality, but we also get the character that's forming, the resilience that's emerging. And I want to say to you, because this phrase has just come up for me here really strong, that gain comes from losing this month. Okay, so there is gain from the loss. And you might not see that straight away, but the Wheel of Fortune is this fated series of events, set of experiences, energy that is coming in, that is set to take you perhaps in a direction you slightly hadn't anticipated, or thinking in a way you hadn't thought before. But at the same time, it's also a time to be exceptionally proud of yourself. And you are going to have to be the one who does start to direct the conversation. As you see some of these changes unfolding and you recognize perhaps what is happening, if there is energies that are going into that lower vibration, it is going to be you that's going to have to step up and say, okay, not on my watch. This is how I want to observe this experience. This is what I'm going to take from it. Like I said, your energy is always going to be your greatest currency here. So you have to be aware of where you're trying to escape from yourself right now, and what that might be rooted in, how that might be holding you back. Because the woman or the man who inspires you is who you're becoming, and this is what we want for you through the course of this month. So like we said, you're going to feel like you shouldn't, or you can't, or you don't have the right to. But this is a month where that's what Spirit are asking of you. You're King of Pentacles here, King of Earth, of course, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. But for me, I like this because it is the emotional foundation that helps you to feel more secure. And he's kind of like holding the reading up here, actually. And we even want him with the Wheel of Fortune that can come in with a little bit of chaos and frenetic energy as it delivers these big, bountiful Jupiterian opportunities. But here he comes in as a bit of a steadying ship and a reminder, so perhaps an aspect of yourself that says, hey, you've got this. Like, look at all your experiences. Look how much you've already achieved. Like, let's lead by example here. Let's have a generosity of spirit to ourselves and others. Let's remind ourselves of the worthiness and the value that we have in this moment. Now, yes, you may have some situations going on that feel painful in relation to a specific person, and that could have happened suddenly or might have not been something that you had actually anticipated. Yes, there could be an ending, closure, release quality to this, but remember what we're saying. There's new offers, there's opportunities, and there's conversations that are coming in that are actually far more leveled and grounded following the storm. It's like we need something to kind of clear the air here so that we can actually come in with a slightly less emotional kind of high anxiety response. Yeah, and I think again that's why we're looking for that nice earth energy to sort of anchor you in a little bit and just remind you what's important, where your priorities are, and actually if this really feels as much of a loss as what you had initially anticipated, because there is something here about, the more you love yourself, Cancer, the more you're going to be at peace with letting go. And what are you letting go of? Well, anything that isn't good for you, because genuinely, the more deeply you step into that higher energy of love, things are just not going to feel good and they're not going to feel right, and you're just not going to be accepting of them in the same way. And so you might find that you yourself are the one that also creates and causes that chaos of the Tower energy, because you are simply not prepared or not willing to put up or to allow the continuation of a dynamic or a situation or experience that is really harmful for you. This is about understanding this environment is no longer conducive to me being my best self and to me feeling good about who I am and to being able to go after, the things that I want in my life. So we have Venus moving into the sign of Libra on the 16th, of course, the natural ruler of this sign, which does bring some balance and harmonizing energy through as we need it. And when we move into Virgo season, there's a desire to want to rejuvenate plans, to re-look at strategies, and your Ace of Wands here is giving you the spark, an idea, an offer, something coming in that says, you know what? I actually recognize the change that I want to make here. Now, of course, it's at the initial stages. It's just a seed that we're planting. It's raw potential, but my God, it has potency. So don't underestimate the power of even a simple choice or acknowledgement that you make this month. Even if that acknowledgement is like, do you know what? I'm really not in an energy that I want to be in right now. Or, this feels really painful for me, or I have this emotion and I feel like I can't get past it. It's like the minute that you just kind of own that emotion and understand where it's sitting within the body, there's a transformational healing that's already beginning, that's already taking place. But again, your Page of Wands, your Ace of Wands here, coming in with a passion and a motivation. And we're in Leo season, first part of the month, and we want to have those big, beautiful goals with soul. We want to kind of tap into Mercury and Leo that can captivate, that can charm, that can beguile and let you speak expressively from the heart about what matters. Now, yes, that might ruffle a few feathers, that might cause some impact, but that's good. We want change. We want things that are no longer working or feel stagnant to actually get moving and get going for you. Now, August has this kind of vibe of like a slightly confused and somewhat nervous tension permeating throughout it. But at the same time, these Uranus trines, and remember, Uranus also goes retrograde on the 19th in Taurus, by the way, which is helping you to master something about the revolution that's taking place within your life right now and yourself. But these trine energies, they're about bringing in positive changes. We ground something in when it's, you know, an earth sign. It becomes more tangible, it becomes more real. We don't have to do so much. It is brought to our door in ways that we hadn't anticipated, but they can be really permanent. And that's to allow this sense of personal freedom for you. So, you know, make sure you're careful what you ask for, because the deliverance from a fated perspective is happening, you know. What we want to do is really understand the ways in which we have to respect ourselves to a higher level than we ever have before, if we want to start to see things differently, and we want to see different behaviours, and we want to see different energy from those around us. You have the bear energy here. It's so protective coming in, linking into the Queen of Pentacles, Earth Mother, protection, a noble soul. And I think it is the way in which you hold yourself through the adversity, through the challenge, through the struggles, and you maintain that sense of dignity and integrity that makes you so resourceful, so tenacious, so actually generous in terms of your heart and your spirit, and it makes all the difference. But you have deep protection around you through this month of August as well. And if you start to recognize that your energy is your greatest currency right now, then like we said, you are going to find yourself making choices and decisions that not only you are exceptionally proud of, but that help you to receive more openly and respond more effectively than you have for some time. And that makes the difference for boundaries, especially in your life. So this is the Oracle of Mystical Moments. Let's have a look and see how it wants to join this conversation. Okay, keys on trees. That's interesting. So we have an elephant here, and there is a staircase. There's a winding staircase that's going to take some time to kind of reach up to this point. And yet at the same time, the elephant's almost like holding the key out and saying, hey, you know, I can almost lower it down to you. Do you have to do it the hard way? And perhaps there's something in you that feels like you do, you know. Of course, elephants, they hold this sacred ancient wisdom. You know, their presence is something to behold, isn't it? If you stand in the energy of an elephant, you cannot help but be leveled and utterly humbled by the experience. And so, you know, your capacity to feel into that type of greatness, that type of energy within yourself, but even spiritually speaking, and that kind of openness, that just like, show me, I don't know the answer, I don't fully understand the way, I'm not sure what is the next step for me here, but being aware that these keys are being delivered literally from heaven, they're kind of falling down and they're available to you. It's not just one, there are so many that are going to be within your reach, and there are more than one way, there's more than one way to receive this, you know. But again, the elephant right now is caged here, and so I think he's also saying, come and set me free. And if we think about the greatness of this beast, it's not a beast that's meant to be tamed. And so Uranus, again, this energy is saying something in your life has to give so you can literally breathe and feel the relief. And so whatever that is, you are also being invited to do the work, to make the journey, to find the bravery and the courage which you will, to be able to unlock and free yourself, and therefore tap into the majesty of that kind of an innate knowledge and wisdom and capacity to kind of do amazing things for yourself in your life. Remember what we said, your dreams are worth your obsession. Your desires and the things that you need, that you're yearning for, are a direct reminder of what is part of your own soul contract, you know. So we have your crystal oracle energies here, and you have black tourmaline connecting into the transformational planet of Pluto and bringing in regeneration. It sits in this portal, this gateway here. Of course, we talked about Lion's Gate coming in on the 8th of the month around that new moon. Black tourmaline, traditionally, of course, a beautiful stone to work with by way of energy protection. And, you know, again, we talk about environment and how it can dictate your energy. And if your energy is your greatest currency, your most valuable asset, then you need to get clear on how you're going to be not only protecting, commanding, clearing it, but this aspect of regeneration is also really important, because we have this 8th house energy with death, and of course the tower links into the energy of Pluto as well. So there's something that is coming by way of rising from the ashes, you know, bringing something back to life, even yourself, and experience something that perhaps you've been through, and coming out the other side of that, yes, changed, but far more secure in who you are, with a greater outlook on life, more passion, more vitality, and the injection of that coming into important relationships in August. So it's a powerful, big month that I think some of the internal revelations that are going to be happening, but also the external surprising, rare events that are set to unfold could well change everything for you. And so they should, because it's time. Okay, so this is a general reading for August Cancer. If you'd like to join me for the extended, we talk for another 20 minutes or so. You can find the link for that in the description and the comment section underneath. It's just a way to support my channel if the reading's resonating. And I'm going to invite you just to think about a question I might not have answered in the main part of the reading. We'll go ahead and pull a couple of cards for you to cover that off. Just going to clarify this main reading now. So starting with the 5 of Cups and the 9 of Pentacles coming in here. Temperance. 6 of Wands. Coming back from defeat, coming back from disappointment, giving yourself time to recoup, recharge, recover. It's all being highlighted. 6 of Cups here. Perhaps looking at the way things were, but we have to give ourselves permission to also meet what's coming in. This is the Dreamskeeper Tarot we're using to clarify. So we have the Ace of Swords coming in here, Knight of Pentacles. I like these offers and proposals that are making their way towards you this month, Cancer. They feel rooted in something positive, growth-filled, and good for you at this moment. So we have Knight of Wands and the Hierophant coming in there with the energy of death. Interesting. Oh, double 3s. Okay, I had another sign this happened with this month. Okay, what else do we have to say about this? King of Cups. Of course, this could be you. Might be another water sign here. I also think it's something about like this kind of sort of spiritual breakthrough as well. I don't know. We'll see what comes in when we explore that further. The Tower has the energy of the Fool. Beautiful. Ace of Cups. You see this restorative energy. There's a lot of completion of cycles going on this month for you. Kind of have to make space. Too much coming in, Cancer. Nine of Cups. Okay, let's just pull a couple more. One for the Bear here, the Star, beautiful. And then the Emperor for this Keys on Trees. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in for your August Soul Story. Hope you enjoy. And if you're joining me for the extended, I will see you there. You take good care. Bright blessings.